Okay, guys. Like I was saying as y'all were coming on, it's good to see you. Make sure that you unmic to talk because the screen will be on the problems. I'll have my document camera right here and I'll be right underneath it. So you guys should be able to see everything that I write. Can you see my hand, fingers wiggling underneath there? Hey,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Corbin's number one. Yay. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to handle things. And so what's going to happen today, and every day we do this live, it's going to be about 25, 30 minutes of Google Meet, okay? I'll try to cut it off after about 25, 30 minutes, try not to go too much over that, if any. But we want to do some live time, and it's really important that you do that. But also I'm going to be recording the meets. And so if something happens and you know, like your Wi-Fi messes up or you're at your grandmother's or just whatever it might be, the meets are going to be recorded every day on Google Classroom. So you should be able to get on there and watch what we do in class. It's better to be in the class and actually seeing what's going on, hearing what's going on, and getting active with the people in the class. But if something happens and it does mess up, then you still have access to it, okay? You'll still have your regular, on Monday, you have your regular assignment, whether it's an ed puzzle, we're going to start doing some IXLs and going to start doing some quizzes, that type of thing. But the main stuff is going to be right here. Now, if you need to talk to me, I'm always monitoring Google Classroom throughout the day. So ask a question, unmic and ask questions during the session. And then even at the end of the sessions, I'm going to stay on for an extra 5 minutes or so and answer any questions if somebody needs some help, okay? So lots of ways to get to me. You can email me. I'm even going to start checking the remind, even though that's not a great way to get with me. It's not the best, but I'm still going to check it because I know some of you can do that quicker than anything else, okay? So get with me if you need help. If there's anything else I can do for you, something going on, don't sweat it, don't stress it. Just try to hang in there with us and let's get done what we can do to get you guys ready for high school algebra, okay? So here's what we're doing today. And as you can see from the bell ringer, the first problem that's on the board, this is actually just a multi-step equation like we've been working on. Now, we're going to do a couple of problems like this. And the reason that I picked this problem, what do you see different about this that you guys haven't done much with? What's the first concern that you see?
The negative beside the parentheses.
It is. It's this negative right here, okay? And so what does that negative in front of the parentheses mean? It actually has the significance, and we need to understand this before we can unlock it.
-1.
You're right. This is still a distributive property, and there's actually a -1 right there. Minus sign, you can think of that as like opposite of everything in here, or you can think of it like distributing a -1, okay? So that's my hint to you to get started. This problem and the next one are both going to have that type of distributive property in it. I want you to be familiar with it. It's not hard to deal with, but if you've never seen it before, then you don't know what to do. So now you know it's a -1. Go ahead and unlock the -5y minus 5 and see if you can get to an answer. I'll give you just a couple more minutes. Had to go shut my door. I could hear Miss Jones and Miss Pride teaching all the way across the hall. They were so loud. You tell them when you go to their class tomorrow, you appreciate it over here in the land of Corbin if they would be a little more quiet. We don't have all the fluff like they have.
Yep.
Some of you guys probably like the fluff, though. Will, I bet you're a big fluff guy.
Oh, I am.
Allie, you like fluff too, don't you?
Yeah.
When you finish up, tell what you got for an answer and see if you've got somebody else that'll agree with you. Kind of do this kind of like a class-wide parent share if you want to do that.
So would you rather speak out loud than use the chat?
What'd you say?
Would you rather us speak out loud than use the chat?
I'd rather you speak out loud because I can't see the chat. I see exactly what you guys see on your screen. Because for some reason my computer freezes for you guys when I do it the other way. So just speak it out. See if you can get somebody to talk back with you about it.
I think it's 8.
I agree. That's exactly what I got.
Yeah, I'm on green now. I understand it a whole lot better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Will. I'm gonna say it's 8.
Okay, so if I go ahead and draw my line here, we know that this 101 and this 7y, we're not touching those to start with, right? So they just hang out. And that's the thing, the biggest help I can give you with these equations, no matter how big the equation is, no matter how many steps it's got, do one piece at a time, bring down the stuff that you don't touch. Like we're not touching this yet, we're not touching this yet, so I'm just bringing it down. And we're going to distribute this -1. So this is the only step that we're doing. Bring down the rest of the stuff and just, even if it's a long problem, it looks like it's got lots of steps, do one layer at a time, one line at a time, okay? So that's going to be -1 times -5 gives you +5y. -1 times -5 gives you +5. Okay? What else do you see? Do we have another pre-shift?
Seven Y and 5.
Right. What do we call those?
Like
Additive inverse.
Like terms. And this is a kind of a sneak peek of what I'm going to show you today. These terms are like terms and they're on the same side. So we can automatically put those together. But the new part I'm going to show you today, one of these guys will be over on the other side. And when they're on opposite sides of the equation, you have to play the balancing game. You have to follow the rules to get them together. They're still like terms and they're still going to get together, but we've just got to play the game. Okay. But if they're on the same side, that's good for us because we're just going to keep the 101. 7 plus 5 is 12. Y. Mark them out if you want. And then plus 5. Everybody see that? See, now I've taken care of all the pre-shifts. And I'm down to see what's been done, undo what's been done, do it to both sides. So I'm going to undo this plus 5. I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. Well, is somebody getting mauled by a pack of dogs? Somebody getting ravaged by wild wolves? Sounded like it.
Sorry.
That's a bunch of dogs, man. Miss
We have
Jones, three?
four,
Miss
but we're
Jones'
not.
dog. Miss Jones's dog just had pups this morning. All right. So again, we can see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel here. Divide through by 12. And you get y is equal to 8. All right. How'd you guys do?
Awful.
Awful? Well,
Better than
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let's say that you did awful. Okay, say you got hung on a step or you missed a sign or whatever. The main thing is not that you missed it. The main thing is do you know why you missed it? Because we learn from our mistakes. There should never be any shame when you guys miss a problem. I mean, when we're practicing like this, that's one of the best ways to learn. Is you see where you made your mistake, and that way you don't make the same mistake again.
Yeah, but I'll probably make that same mistake again.
Well, let's see. I'm going to give you a problem just like that. Okay? Everybody try that. Okay, just in case somebody's sitting there and not knowing what to do, somebody unmic, and what's the first step? What do you see that you're going to do first?
Distributor property.
Right. What are you distributing?
What's in the parentheses?
Yeah, but what's outside the parentheses is the tough part, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
-1.
Right, right. See, so there's a -1 right there. So be careful. Minuses out front there, they mean -1. Okay, go ahead and I'll give you a couple minutes. Okay, so when you finish, go ahead and unmic and ask some people what they got.
I got x equals 8. I got the same thing.
I got the same thing.
All right, well, that's 3 aces, 3 people that have it. That might mean that you guys are on the right track. So here's my line. Let's check and see what you did. So you've already said distributed property, right? So I'm going to go here to here and there to there. Just remember, a minus sign is never alone. It's minus that, it's a -1. So -1 times 1 gives you -1. -1 times -8 gives you +8. And then you just bring down the 3x. It's not doing anything. And then the 87, it's just hanging out, right? Okay, next step.
Combine like terms.
Yes. They're on the same side here. So that means we can just put them together. So 8 and 3 is 11. And then there's the 87. No more pre-shifts, right? So we're down to see what's been done, undo what's been done, do it to both sides. Whoop. Additive inverses right here. 11x equals 88. Now we can kind of see, right? You know what's funny? In the real world, when you do equations, everything always comes out like a decimal or a fraction. I love it when these come out all nice and pretty. But it almost never happens that way in the real world. Okay, what do you guys think? Can you do those? Now that you're on to them, you know what that minus sign out in front means, right? That means distributing a -1. Okay, so let's look at the new ones. All right, everybody take a look at this. And tell me what is different from that than the ones we've been doing.
At the end, what you get, you just have to add your like terms.
Okay, but what about those like terms? Do they look different? Are they in different spots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are they?
One side of the equation and the other.
That's right. So even though 2x and -3x are like terms, you can't just put them together, can you? Because
No, you have to subtract 2 from the other side.
well, that's one way, or you can add 3x to the other side. Now, I love it that you know that, because what we want to do is we want to get them together. We have to get them on the same side. And so what I need you to write in your notes is we want to take the smallest to the largest. Now, you don't have to take the smallest to the largest, but let me tell you how that helps us. If we take the smallest to the largest, it keeps us from having a negative coefficient. Okay? So between 2 and -3, I know -3 is the smallest. And so to get it over on the other side, I'm going to do the opposite. Because to move it to the other side, I've got to follow the rules for equations, right? Because I've got a scale. Remember, it's a balancing act. So if I add 3x to this side, I got to add 3x to that side. Now, don't freak out because it's a variable term. It's the same thing. You can move and do whatever you want as long as you do to both sides. These are still additive inverses, okay? They still cancel out. And leaves you with just 5 on that side. And then you've got 5x on that side. This equation right here is equivalent to that equation right there. They're like ice and water. They're the same amount of H2O, okay? Just one looks like ice and one looks like water, okay? Divide through by 5 to finish it up. And x equals 1. So these variables on both sides, it's just another layer. And the way you deal with it is they're like terms. You're going to get them together. Always take the smallest to the largest. If you find yourself mixed up doing it the other way around, that's fine. You'll just have a negative coefficient in front of the variable. Okay, you guys ready to do one? Yay, Mr. Corbin, we're ready. Okay. Love the excitement. You guys see the shadow on my big head? Trying to reach down here and get this one. All right, try that. Had somebody in one of the classes this morning get upset because I used too many twos in this problem. Too many twos, Mr. Corbin? I was like, hey, don't be hating on the twos. Just because it's the lowest card in the deck. It's not number 1, and it's not number 3. It's in the middle. It's 2. Still got good things going for it. Go ahead and speak out if you get to a part that you don't understand, or if you finish and you want to check with somebody else.
I'm confused. Which side is the equation?
Which what?
Which side is the equation and which is the answer?
Well, the whole thing is the equation. Remember, you're trying to get x by itself. That's how you know what the solution is. You're peeling off all these layers that are on top of x. So what are you going to start with? What's the first layer, the pre-shift?
Distributive property.
Right, right. So if you draw your line, this is the first thing you're going to do right there. Okay, so 2 times -2 gives you -4. 2 times -2 gives you -4x. And then these guys are just hanging out, right? We didn't do anything with them. You just do one step, bring it down. One step, bring it down. Okay, what's the next pre-shift when you get to right here? What do you see that's got to go together?
Your X's.
Right. But they're on.
So you
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
can add 4.
You can either add 4x or you can add 7x. -7 is smaller, right?
No.
Think about it. -7 is farther to the left on a number line than -4, right?
Yeah.
So -7 is smaller. But you could do either one. It's just if you add 4, you're going to get a -3 instead of a positive. Okay. So I'll do that. So I'm getting the x's together. So if you want to add 4x, do it to this side. Got to do it to that side. Let's cancel out. Negative 4 equals negative 4. And this right here is going to give you negative 3x. Okay? No more pre-shifts. So I'm going to add 4. And I get 0 equals, those are additive inverses, negative 3x. Does the 0 bother you guys? I mean, did you get the 0 and you go, oh man, that ain't right? Don't let the zeros bother you. If we get a 0, that's good for us because zeros are easy to figure. You still divide through by negative 3 and you get x equals 0. Okay, let's do one more. This will be one we finished on. And we'll practice these some more tomorrow. There you go. Everybody try that one. But again, you're just looking for one layer at a time. One pre-shift, bring everything down, look for another pre-shift until they're all gone, and then you're just down to see what's been done and do what's been done and do it to both sides. All right, we're starting to run out of time, so time that I promised you. Kind of over it here a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and do this one for you. And you guys just watch. Now, the thing that I see right off the bat is that 5 looks like I can put it with that 2. I mean, that just looks real juicy right there, doesn't it? Just looks fat. I can just put it, make it 7, and then distribute 7 times y, 7 times 7. But you can't be doing that because you got to understand this 2 is locked up with this distributive property. So it's not free to do anything with the 5 because it's already with this group right over here. Okay? So as tempting as it looks, the 5 has just got to be brought down like that. Now this 2 is still going to be distributed like that. So 2y plus 14. And then the negative 6 minus 3y over here, it just hangs out. What do you see is the next thing we need to do? What do you guys think would be next?
Put like terms together.
Right. And you've got them on the same side right here. So we can just put them straight together. So 2y plus 19, because those go together. And then where these guys are just hanging out. Okay. Now what? What do you see? We just learned it today.
You put your hold on. I don't know.
Somebody help out.
You do the thing with the -3y.
Right. We've got variables on both sides, don't we? So to fix that, I'm going to take the smallest and put it over here with the largest. So how do I get rid of a -3y? I add 3y. If I do it to one side, gotta do it to the other. Those guys are gone. Bring down what's left. Always bring down what's left. Now it's just a baby equation. Undo.
-19,
Right?
and then divide -6, and then you got I don't know that.
-6 and -19, signs are the same. So I add, keep the same sign. So 5y divided by 5, and you get y is equal to -5.
Oh,
Okay? All right, so again, this is going to be recorded, so you can go back and look at it if you want. But the main thing you need to look for, those pre-shifts, distributed property, combining like terms. Now you've got another tool in your toolbox. You've got variables on both sides. Variables on both sides means we've got to play the game to get them on the same side. Keep balanced, okay? We will practice some more of these tomorrow, and I'm even going to give you guys a couple of special problems tomorrow. They have special answers. They're equations, believe it or not, they are equations that variables all cancel out. And so you might be saying, well, Mr. Corbin, how do we have solutions to an equation with no variables? Well, I'll show you tomorrow, okay? Any questions before we close out?
no, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, hey, I love you guys.
Period.
We'll see you the same time tomorrow. If you need some extra help, hang around. If not, you're free to log off, okay? Thanks, guys.
All right, love you too. See you.
Bye, guys. Y'all make me laugh.
Are we having 7th period?
No,
All right.
no 7th period. That's it.
Well, have a good evening.
Same to you. See you tomorrow.